And thanks for joining us for this very special edition of Weekend Winners. We are on the eve of ID23 Grand Finals night. The Pacers, that's race number 5. The Trotters is race number 8. And what a race night we've got in front of us tomorrow night. Saturday night at Albion Park. Swayze up against Leap to Fame. This is what we've been waiting for. These two brothers going head to head, and following the barrier draw earlier this week, advantage Swayze because he draws inside of Leap to Fame. His bad luck continues, Leap to Fame, when it comes to barrier draws in big races. So can he overcome this wide gate? Can he overpower his older half-brother in Swayze? That question is going to be answered come tomorrow night. And as far as the Trotters is concerned, it all points towards this globe-trotting superstar, Just Believe. Clean swept last year's series in Melbourne, all 3 heats and the final, and so far so good here in Brisbane. All 3 heats. The final appears to be at his mercy. He comes up with a really favourable draw gate 4, and he's looked invincible throughout the heats so far. So that is all in front of us. The support program very good. Consolations as well for both Pacers and Trotters. Also very, very good races. The boys are with me. Darren, Clayton, Ryan, Spice. Darren, the barrier draw, it swings in the favour of Swayze. He's now the favourite. What was your take following Monday?
Yeah, well, it certainly makes it a really good race now in terms of that battle, and it's really going to be a tactical battle. Narano drawn 1, Swayze is outside in the middle of those, turn it up with his brilliant speed. He's probably the leader. Where does Leap to Fame get to? Throw in Future Assured as well, a horse that not push button speed off the arm, takes time to wind up, but once he does get wound up, he can really get going. So it really sets it up early for a really fascinating contest.
The last horse to clean sweep a series as far as a pacing series was concerned, Ultimate Sniper, back in 2019. So it wasn't all that long ago. Guess what? He was a 4-year-old, just like Leap to Fame, Ryan Spice. He's been the favourite all the way through up until Monday. Swayze's now the favourite. He will run the favourite, won't he?
Yeah, I'm confident Swayze does jump favourite with barrier draw advantage. I don't think he gets into odds on though. I think it'll just be a shade of black odds for Swayze. Such a strong hand for Team Grimson. They probably, if they could pick 2 barriers, they've probably got what they wanted. So Leap's got to do it from the breeze by the looks of things, perhaps. Another bad draw in a feature race. So let's see what happens.
Queensland, no doubt, they'll be cheering on Leap to Fame. He's the local hero, and he's been so good in all of those heats. 2 of the other 3 heats, he's been the fastest time with his wins. There's going to be a big cheer for him, but Swayze, he's going to be so hard to beat. He beat him in the Blacks are Fake. He's since gone to New Zealand, dominated their best horses in their best race. This will be one heck of a year if he can come out and win the Inter Dominion as well as what he's already done. Yeah,
and the other sort of stat that's a bit frightening is when Swayze's been in front, no horse has got past him. So for Grimson, that is. So massive task if the cards do fall favourably for Swayze and Narano.
Yeah, Jason Grimson chasing history, looking for his 3rd straight Inter Dominion trophy with 3 different horses. Last year, I Cast No Shadow. On protest 2 years ago, Bonseller Benjamin. And he's got the choice of 2 this year with Swayze and Narano. Narano's been the find of the series.
Yeah, definitely, and he's got that brilliant acceleration, and I think 3-4 fence for him is a perfect spot because the race will open up, you would expect at some stage, and that push button speed that he has shown off tempo is electric. And I think you look back to his last 2 Inter Dominion winners, neither of those 2 were in front at the bell.
It's a fascinating point, and as far as the Trotters are concerned, Just Believe. So it's all pointing towards Just Believe. Couldn't have been any more impressive last week. He was stunning the way he went about it last week.
Yeah, geez, he's a great trotter. He has gone to the next level off his Inter Dominion last year and his European campaign mid-year. He has been stunning. The only way I could see him getting beat is if Queen has the cold shot off his back. But I think all roads lead to Just Believe.
Yeah, he's a very skinny price, Just Believe, and rightly so, given what he's done throughout these heats so far.
Yeah, definitely. He warrants that price. He's done what he has to do right the way through, and he gets the opportunity to just stay out of any early battles, and Greg Sugars can put him in the race where he needs to, and he's that versatile anyway. He can work if he needs to, and I don't see how he gets beat. Bad luck, the only thing I think.
Yeah, Greg Sugar's chasing his third straight Inter Dominion Trotting Championship victory. Won it last year with Just Believe, 2 years ago with Maori Law. Can he do it again with Just Believe? And Greg Sugars is also chasing that other piece of history as well by becoming just the second driver to win both the Pacers and Trotters Grand Final on the same night. The only driver that's done it, John Langdon, back in 1975 in Auckland. He was able to win both the Pacers and Trotters Grand Final. So can Greg Sugars do it? He's driving better Eclipse in the Pacing Grand Final, and he's got the clear favourite there in the Trotters Grand Final in Just Believe. We're going to preview all of these races in just a moment. Tab are coming to the party as well. There's the money back offer. There's a big first four jackpot on the Inter Dominion Pacing Championship Grand Final as well. So make sure you stay on board with all of that, and we'll bring you all of the latest news. So we'll take a quick break, come back and preview all of the big ones in just a moment. Let's have a look now at race number 4. This is the Inter Dominion Pacing Championship Consolation. Very competitive lineup here. Can't Find a Better Man is the favourite with Tab. He's been unlucky throughout the series. He finally lands a good draw, albeit in the consolation, but he's going to run from gate number 2. Darren, he's been somewhat of a tease in the carnival. Hasn't had a great deal of luck with barrier draws, and he's got better as the series has got deeper. Is this his race to lose now?
Oh, 100%. His first round run, Luke sort of has even admitted that he probably got it a little bit wrong by going when he did. Sectionally, he's been superb. You look at his times on the throughout each round, been super. This is his opportunity. Of course, if there's no scratchings in the main run, here's the first emergency there, so he gets his start here. And it's a bit of an old sort of tale that I've been told for a long time, always back to first emergency in the consolation.
Certainly looks hard to beat here, Can't Find a Better Man. And keeping in mind, he does boast a victory over Leap to Fame as well. So he's no mug, Can't Find a Better Man, and this looks perfect for him on Saturday night.
Yeah, he can just zip out, take the front, control his own fate. I do suspect that over the 2600, Luke will take a sit on Black Sedans. That's my gut feel. So astute tactically, Luke McCarthy, he'll get it right. Need to be patient though, he's gone up quite short fixed odds. I think if he drifts out to black odds, it's definitely a great betting opportunity.
Okay, Darren, let's map this race then for our viewers. So, Can't Find a Better Man in gate 2. Do you have him in front with a lap left to run, or do you subscribe to Ryan's theory that he's opting for cover?
Yeah, I think he'll take cover. I think Black Sedans can get forward, and under that scenario, I guess Luke's got two sort of options here, that he could hold him out or let him go. And I think by letting him go, he gets a cold shot on him, and Can't Find a Better Man's got that brilliant change-up speed. He's got quite a few victories here at Albion Park, both earlier this year in the winter, last year as a 3-year-old. If he opts to hold the front, well then Black Sedan's probably going to get fired up outside him, and over the long trip you probably don't want that. Black Sedans gets him to the passing lane, or at least the field probably starts to break up. So I think the trail's the go, and from there he'd be too good. I think Hot and Treacherous, Deus Ex maybe opt to go back early. Hot and Treacherous, they probably have to go forward. He's been completely unlucky through the series. Copped a couple of 12s in the heats, and here he is, cops a 7 in the consolation. So, whether they just get forward and just chance their arm. I think the 3 wide train is an interesting one. I think LL Cool J is probably a good place chance if he can get cover over the closing stages. And Manila Playboy, brilliant first 2 rounds, just probably asked for too much in the final round. A little bit quieter trip this time. He's going well enough to be running on strongly.
Okay. Away from Can't Find a Better Man, Ryan, who's the clear favourite, and rightly so, you can make cases for several others here.
It's a great race, aside from the favourite. Some horses are absolutely flying. Send It could not be going any better, and he's been absolutely backed off the map fixed odds, as we've seen, 31's into around the $6 mark now. If he gets a split late, he's going to charge to the line. I'm definitely with Darren. Manila Playboy, total forgive last start. They went forward, he breezed. That's just not his go. Yeah. He's a total sit sprinter. If they go hard here and he can track a helmet in, I think he's a great place prospect as well.
I tend to agree. So looking at our selections here, I've got Can't Find a Better Man on top, but I think Manila Playboy, with any sort of luck, can certainly run top 3. As Ryan just outlined, just forgive that run last week. LL Cool J, he's another one that's going really well, and Hot and Treacherous, as you outlined, Darren, he's just had no luck with draws, and he's got a bad one again tomorrow night, but he can certainly feature. So I've gone 2, 12, 11 and 7 in the consolation.
Yeah, and pretty similar numbers there across the board. 2, 12, 11 and 5 for me. Can't Find a Better Man, Manila Playboy, LL Cool J. Black Sedan, he might just be able to grip on. He's been going pretty well through the series. Again, a horse that's not had much luck. He wasn't far away in the second round.
Okay, and Ryan, you're coming up with Can't Find a Better Man?
Yeah, really similar numbers. Can't Find a Better Man on top. I think the tactics of Luke McCarthy will just come to the fore. Manila Playboy is flying, but he needs to be driven with one run. Send It couldn't be going any better. And I think Black Sedan does get released to the front. And, he breezed up last start, got beat about 20 metres. It was a big pass mark in my book, yeah. Black Sedan. And the horse I have a small share in, LL Cool J, he can't be going any better. He's a live place hope for sure.
Yep, absolutely. So good race, as we all outlined there. There's several horses here that are going terrifically well. So this promises to be a very intriguing race. This is the consolation. It's race 4. Start time at 5:50. We look now at the feature race number 5. This is the Inter Dominion Pacing Championship Grand Final. What a lineup it is. Swayze, Leap to Fame, Swayze as it stands right now. Swayze is the favourite. He draws on the inside of Leap to Fame. This is going to be one heck of a race. There's no doubt about it. This is what we've been waiting for. The two brothers return. They go head to head. We know what happened in the Blacks of Fake earlier this year. There was that wheel issue with Leap to Fame. Hopefully, there's no problems this time around for either horse, and this is going to go right to the wire.
Yeah, hopefully that's the case, and may the best horse win. Even if it's neither of those two, it sets up for a really fascinating contest. I go back to that Blacks of Fake run. I still stick by the fact that Leap to Fame, I think he would have got him. He wasn't beaten that far, and basically had the handbrake on all the way up the home stretch, and Swayze didn't really pull away from him. I'll tell you what would have been really interesting coming into this. Swayze was balloted out of the patron's purse. That was one of Leap to Fame's biggest victories. How good in hindsight if they had clashed in that race.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Let's have a look at the replay of Leap to Fame. He's the only horse that's gone through this pacing series unbeaten. He's the pin-up local pacer. Last week he was able to stroll to the front and then just dominate his rivals. Quickest time of the night for the distance range, which is the grand final distance of 26.80, Ryan. He's absolutely in the zone, but it's not going to be easy drawn on the outside of Swayze, given how strong a stayer Swayze is.
Oh, absolutely, Chris. But we've seen his gate speed is developing, so it's really an interesting proposition. What does Grant do at the start? Does he try and ping him? I wouldn't be shocked. So much at stake from a position and run perspective. And there's also this question that can Future Assured get his feet across in front of Swayze as well, and then Leap needs to be there to capitalise if that does happen. I'm not sure how they settle. So, yeah, it's great final. And then we've got Narano, who could not be going any better.
Yeah.
And the same can be said for Better Eclipse. And he probably gets his perfect draw. Let them do their thing, track Louis into the race. He can be in the finish as well. So, for the sake of the race, we've probably got the perfect barrier draw.
You're the man in the hot seat because you've got to map this race for us. So how does it play out at the start? Does Turn It Up clear Narano? Does Turn It Up release Swayze? Does Leap to Fame get across in front of Swayze? Is Future Assured going forward? It's not an easy challenge for you.
No, it's not. And I think, there's been a school of thought that Narano can kick up and hold Turn It Up. I don't subscribe to that theory. I don't think anything has got the speed Turn It Up has, regardless of whether they're side by side. He can just get across. Let's look at some facts and figures with Turn It Up. 33 starts off the front line at Albion Park. He has led off the mobile in 32 of those. The only time he was held out was Cruz Bromac, and they ended up dead heating that race. 7 times he's drawn the front over the 26.80 at Albion Park. He's led all 7 of those, and some big races in there amongst that. Blacks Are Fake being one of those. I think he's first to the fence regardless. And from there, I think Shane Graham would be happy to hand up to whoever comes along. I don't think it would matter which one he hands up. 3 fence for Turn It Up is as good a position as any. So I think Swayze, I think they'll be driving hard to get across. And I think he gets to the front. I think Leap to Fame will end up having to do the hard work. I think that allows Future Assured to probably drop into the 1-1. From there, they probably just fill their positions. Better Eclipse, Spirit of St. Louis probably pops out in front, leading that trip home, and some of the others will just sort of fill their spots where they can. But Turn It Up first to the fence for me. I think Swayze will get there, but I think he'll be driven very hard to get there.
Okay. What was your first line of thinking with this race, Ryan, after the barrier draw was done? Do you give Leap to Fame any chance of just blasting off the arm and trying to land in front of Swayze?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. His Victoria Cup gate speed was so much of an improvement to what we've seen. I wouldn't be surprised if Team Dixon have been tinkering away in the background and trying to add that weapon to his arsenal. Yeah, I think it's on the cards. I don't subscribe to... I think from an Arano point of view, though, he and Turn It Up have that much gate speed compared to the rest of the front line. It's not funny. I actually think there's going to be room enough. Jack Trainer can get Narano off as good as he can, but he can then kind of let Turn It Up do his thing. But I think the retake's on there, and he's just going to zip around and then wait for one of the big guys, whoever gets there first.
Okay, that's interesting. Did you factor in that theory?
No, I didn't go down that path, but there's a lot of paths I've been down, a few dead ends amongst them too.
Okay, so who are you going to tip then in the pacing grand final?
I'm sticking with the clean sweep, the local, Leap to Fame. I think he does the hard stuff. I think Narano, I think he is the biggest threat in the race regardless of how it lines up. His win last week from 3 fence was super. Better Eclipse is the versatile runner. Greg Sugars gets the opportunity to just watch what unfolds in front and then play it as he sees it. So he's probably, I don't think he's holding the aces, but he's holding a very strong hand. And I'm throwing in Future Assured. I thought he was perhaps pigeonholed as a miler. I thought his run last week was really good. So 6-1, 11-4, bit of a...
You've left Swayze out.
There's a few eyes being rolled, but...
yeah, no one puts baby in the corner. I've put her there.
Wow. Okay, well, there's a major shock for the Inter Dominion Pacing Grand Final. I'm going to tip Swayze purely because of the fact that he's drawn inside of Leap to Fame. And if he gets the victory here on Saturday night in the Inter Dominion Grand Final, following on from his New Zealand Cup triumph and the Blacks are fake, he'll be crowned the Australian Harness Horse of the Year, and for the right reason, because that's a heck of a season. I think his stablemate is going to be a real threat in Arano. He's been amazing. It'll just be interesting to start to see if they try and Turn It Up early. If they do, does that nullify his dynamic turn of foot at the end of his races? So that's a little unknown. Leap to Fame, he's been enormous, and nothing would give me more pleasure than calling him home as the winner, but I think it's a huge task now that he's drawn outside of Swayze, and I thought Spirit of St. Louis might be the best roughie, so I'm going to go 3-1-6-9. Ryan, your numbers?
I'll put the hometown hero on top. I just had to. I don't know where he sits in the run. The one thing I kept coming back to was when he took 0.7 off the 2100 metre track record and he was strangled to the line. I can't get that run out of my head. So he deserves a big one, and I think we're going to get a great race.
Yeah, I'm sure of that. So you're going 6-3-1-11. Better Eclipse is your best blowout chance.
I can entertain any of those 4 horses winning. I can't entertain anything else taking the victory.
Okay.
With the right run and with Carnage, Better Eclipse is a huge chance.
All right. It's going to be a fascinating race. There's no question about it. It comes through as race number 5. 6:30 is start time, so it's nice and early. Make sure you're tuned in. Can Leap to Fame do it? All of Queensland's going to be cheering him on. It's going to be an epic contest. The Inter Dominion Pacing Grand Final. Let's have a look now at race number 7. This is the Inter-Regional Championship Final. Heats have been staged over the past couple of weeks, and it's drawn together a very competitive field. The early favourite, or likely favourite for this race, is going to be Not the Kingswood, running from gate 3 for Nathan Dawson. Darren, what have you made of the heats over the past couple of weeks, staged at all of the tracks here in Queensland?
Yeah, interesting format, and I think it's been really well received. A heat at Marburg, a heat at Albion Park, a heat at Redcliffe, and here they come together. And I guess that's the tricky part of bringing them all together. You've got Marburg form, the tight 700 metre track there. You've got the triangle Redcliffe form, or you've got the big oval here. So I thought they've been really good. Not the Kingswood. That was a really good win at Marburg. He drew outside the front. It's so hard to win outside the front line at any track. At Marburg, you know, he times that by 3 or 4. He forced his way to the front and then fought on, super win. So, you know, his effort was really good. Si Sempre Tilly won the Albion Park feature. She sat off speed, finished over the top of them. That was probably Chamonix's heat to lose. He hasn't been suited by the draw for this final, so he comes up there. And Jillaby Jackpot, he was really strong in the Redcliffe win, so he took what we deem the northern final. So, yeah, it's a really good race and really interesting form lines to bring them back onto the 1,000 metre track.
Ryan, how did you assess this race?
The Peter Gregg stable is just flying at the moment. I think with the very strong hand of Not the Kingswood and Beef City Blaze, I'd be shocked if one of those two aren't winning.
Okay, so how did you map this race, Darren? Are you playing that way, Beef City Blaze, Not the Kingswood? Are they the top two here?
Yeah, definitely. Well, you look at the fact that Ashley Nitro's drawn in between them and she's not fast out at all. Not the Kingswood, really quick out. Beef City Blaze loves a peg trip. So I've got Not the Kingswood getting across. Beef City Blaze tucks in behind. Sunrise Ruby probably has to be the one that comes across. Incognito went forward in the Redcliffe heat. Drawn gate 7 probably makes it a tough ask to go forward. So I think Sunrise Ruby gets there. I don't think there's a great deal of pressure in this race, and that really gives Not the Kingswood every opportunity. And like Ryan said, the Peter Gregg stable on fire this season. They're on the cusp of 100 wins for the season for their first time ever. So, yeah, that's the way I sort of see them lining up in the run.
All right, so with that being said, Ryan, are you tipping Not the Kingswood, or is Beef City Blaze a real sprint lane hope here?
I found it hard to separate them, but I did tip Not the Kingswood on top. He's quite a well-performed horse. He will be leading. It's the mile. Nathan Dawson can rack him and stack him. But yeah, the stablemate I think is going to go real close to running him down without a doubt. And I thought La Sabina can rail through and be a really strong place hope from 3 pegs over the mile.
Okay, so we've all come up with similar time numbers here. I'm tipping Not the Kingswood to beat Beef City Blaze, just what you guys said. They look like they're going to be in the perfect spot. So 3 to beat 1. La Sabina on the pegs can certainly run a place, and Jillaby Jackpot, who won the Redcliffe heat, can certainly feature here as well. So 3, 1, 8, 9. Your numbers, Darren?
Yeah, I'm going 1, 3, 11, 9. I think Beef City Blaze, he's a horse that loves the pegs, loves the soft trip, and really effective along the passing lane. So if Not the Kingswood's in front, close to the line, could be a case of pickle me grandmother, Beef City Blaze gets the win.
Okay, might be a good race to play here, 1 and 3, going through all the exotics as well, Ryan, because they're just going to be in the right spot, aren't they?
Yeah. And if they overcook it, I think the class of Chamonix will come to the fore as well. So he's the one that won't shock, storms home and blows them all out if there's more tempo than anticipated.
All right, well, that's the Inter-Regional Championship final coming through as race number 7. Start time for that race is at 7:47. Race number 8 on Saturday night, the Inter Dominion Trotting Championship Grand Final, and this is the race for Just Believe. Can he do it? Can he clean sweep the series for the 2nd straight year? Not many horses have done this. Not many horses have gone through 3 heats and a final in 14 days as far as the trotters are concerned. Just Believe did it last year. Tornado Valley in 2018. Take a Moment back in 2003. He's clearly the horse to beat. He's had a very short quote with Tab as we speak, and he looks the obvious. He's been enormous. I reckon last week, that final round, that was his best performance so far because, as you mentioned earlier, he gave his rivals every opportunity to beat him. Olivici was unbeaten going into that final heat like he was, Just Believe, and he just dropped him cold. So he was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. His first round just probably did enough to win. Second round again, he was really good and probably only did what he had to. There last week, the same 13 furlong trip that they'll have in the final. Olivici, every opportunity, and we know how good Olivici is. We know that Chris Lang's got a massive opinion about Olivici and has had for a long time. And Just Believe just toyed with them. And Olivici's probably as good a chance as any of being the runner-up again this week, outside of probably Queen Elida. And, you know, how can he turn the tables drawn outside 2 barriers to the outside again? For me, Just Believe's just been awesome.
Yeah, well, if you missed it last week, here's a refresher. Here's Just Believe scoring in this last round heat last Saturday night. That's Gus on his outside, and that's Olivici, who dropped behind him going down the back straight. So he got a perfect run into it. Sugar's having a look over the shoulder there. He knows where Olivici is. He comes to the outside of Olivici like he's got something to offer, but then he just goes into another gear, Ryan. And there he is, off and gone up the home straight here at Albion Park. He is a real pleasure, this horse, and gee, it's going to take a good one to beat him.
It's going to take bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's flying. If Greg was serious from the 600 there, imagine the gap he could have put in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, only I really do think it's Queen would have to have the cold shot off his back for him to get rolled. I find it baffling, the Mufasa Metro camp, all the talk, all the tough talk. Last year, this year, hold. I mean, with my punting hat, my logical hat on, it just doesn't make any sense to not want to just take the trail and maximise your finishing position. So let's see what happens. It'll be interesting see what tactics are employed.
All right, well, speaking of tactics, let's have a look at your map, because there has been a lot of tough talk this week on how this race is going to shake out. Just Believe in 4, Mufasa Metro 1, Queen Elida's drawn on the outside of Just Believe in 5, and there's a bit of, argy-bargy on how it's going to, play out the first 200 metres. So how did you map them with the lap left to run?
Yeah, I think with trotters, to be absolutely flying the arm, there's not many trotters that really can do that. Mufasa Metro, he is one of those that can really get out. From gate 1 over the long trip, again, like Ryan said, they've been talking the talk, but they've got to walk the walk if they want to do it here. And if they want to lead throughout, well, I think that's putting themselves in a position where could have a very big headache come Sunday morning. So I think at whichever point Greg Sugars opts to press forward, the front's there. So I think he stays in front of Queen Elida at the start and just doesn't allow her to get across, because he can basically choose what he wants to do, Greg Sugars, I think, and I think he gets to the front, and I think Mufasa Metro, I think they'll just probably into submission. If they're not going to hand up, Greg Sugars will take the front regardless. So, and I think that leaves Queen Elida parked, which is going to be tough for her, and I think Olivici probably comes across with them, because I think they'll all want to just press forward early here. Sir Fahrenheit probably gets a nice 3-peg trip. Gus, Adele, Plymouth Chubb, one of those 3, I think, has to bite the bullet at some point and be the one to lead the 3-wide line. Probably Plymouth Chubb might just jump out in front of Adele first, but however that works. Gus, brilliant night too. He's going to be better following a helmet. We saw that last week over the long trip. He just sort of didn't really finish it off. If he gets a helmet to follow this time, he'll be much better.
Do you have Just Believe in front with a lap left to run, Ryan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's my logic says yes. Yep. I think they have to be tempted with Plymouth Chubb to go 4 fence at the start. We saw night 1 how well he sprinted off a cold sit, and I'm sure there's going to be a solid tempo throughout. And I think sort of down the back the last time the gaps are going to open. And if Plymouth's going to be in the finish, I think driving him for luck rather than being 3 and 4 deep inside the last 600, I think that's, if he was mine, that's what I'd be doing. The interesting X factor is Gus. If he doesn't settle and Chantel has to roll forward on him, that's when it's going to be interesting. So maybe that's how Just Believe gets forced onto the top, perhaps.
Yeah. So it's going to be a good betting race, this one, because we can stand out Just Believe. So who are you looking at as far as the chief minor players are concerned?
Yeah, well, I think the Queen. She certainly gets every opportunity there. She might have to do it tough, but I think she's got enough edge over her rivals there. I think Plymouth Chubb, he's the big knockout hope in terms of if he can be close enough, and like Ryan said, there's a bit of mid-race tempo there, then he can be finishing off strongly. And Adele last week over the 2600, she found the line really nicely. That replay that we just watched, she was running on into third, and she gets the right card into this. I think she can certainly give a place a real shake.
Okay, so 4, 5, 10, 12 for you. I'm going 4, 10, 5 and 1. I think Plymouth Chubb can run second, Queen Elida third, Mufasa Metro fourth. Ryan, your numbers?
Yeah, Just Believe on top for me. Mufasa Metro, just from his beautiful gait. You know, initially I mapped him taking the sit nice and early, not doing any work, trying to maximise his finishing position. But all the tough talk from the camp has me worried. Plymouth Chubb, flying this horse, can certainly run top 4. And the Queen, my concern for her is if she did get left exposed in the breeze, that could really dent her opportunities to win the race. But if she does race on pace with cover, her stocks soar.
Okay. Fascinating race coming up. History beckons there for Just Believe as well. It's race number 8 on the program. It's the Inter Dominion Trotting Championship Grand Final. Start time coming your way at 8:22. Time now to look at the Trotters free-for-all. So in many ways, the consolation of the Inter Dominion Trotting Championship Grand Final. And this is going to be a good competitive race. No question about it. Several coming out of the recent series. There's a few fresh faces lining up here. So it's not an easy race to assemble and pull apart for that matter. So Darren, first and foremost, do we give preference to those that are dropping back from the Inter Dominion series for this race?
Yeah, I think you certainly have to, in terms of they've been racing the stronger types. To be fair, there's no real sort of high quality standout coming in that was unlucky to have missed out on the Inter Dominion. So you've got to take that into consideration. Like I said before, with the paces consolation, you take the first emergency for the trot for the main Inter Dominion, and that's Constantinople, and he probably looks a bit of a standout. Powder Kegs was a flashing light eye catcher last week after making an error, and there's a couple there that, to be fair, you could probably put a line through straight up.
Okay, I'm keen to get your thoughts on this race. During the series, you were taken by Powder Keg on one of the heat nights, so looking at this race, this looks really suitable, albeit off a bad draw. Constantinople, as Darren just outlined, he's the emergency for the Trotters Grand Final, so does he deserve top billing here?
I think he does just slightly. Constantinople, I think we have to, both horses have got issues behaviourally. Twice Constantinople's flicked into a pace during the race, and Powder Kegs, he loves a gallop. So you have to sort of take them on trust, so to speak, but absolutely no way could I entertain backing Constantinople at an odds-on quote. I think they should be just about equal favourites. Constantinople slightly in front, but definitely black odds. From a wagering perspective, the gap in the market, for me, it leads to Powder Keg.
Okay. Interesting. So let's map this race and see if we can get a little bit closer to the end prize here. Constantinople, gate 4. Where do you have it with a lap left to run?
Yeah, I think they be positive and push on. It's their opportunity to earn some good money through the series. He did come into this series with a golden ticket run, so here's his chance to push forward. I don't think there's really anything inside there that would want to hold him out, really. I think Zealous Spur is quick enough out, a fair to cover, not overly quick, might just sort of end up sort of caught, exposed as a result of where they fall. So I think Constantinople works to the front. Kingdom Come is quick enough out that he can hold his position, and he's one that comes into this race, wasn't in the Inter Dominion series, so he gets his shot there and comes up with an ideal gate. Zealous Spur, Show Me the Grey, another that comes into the race. He was really good first up, off a long break for Shane Graham, over 12 months off. First start in Australia last week here at Albion Park, and was a good third or second in that race. So Powder Keg, probably back in the pack again, as Ryan said. few behavioural issues, doesn't mind a bit of a gallop. So Chris Alford takes the drive this week. So if he can keep him in his rhythm and trotting cleanly, well then he's certainly a big threat.
Okay, so Darren's got Constantinople in front. If he is in front with a lap left to run, he's going to be hard to roll.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. But Powder Keg's a horse with an immense amount of talent. If he behaves himself, trots all the way, Chris Alford...
That's a big if, isn't it?
Absolutely. But it's worth the gamble to find out at the price. So, without a doubt, let's play.
All right, so you're tipping Powder Keg?
Powder Keg on top, and I've already backed him.
Okay, well, there you go. You put the money up straight away. Which way are you going?
Yeah, I'm going with Constantinople. Just think he can get it done, and going back to that theory that I was told long ago, put the emergency for the grand final on top in the consolation. But from a wagering perspective, I'm on Kingdom Come the Place. He loves a peg trip. His last run in obviously a weaker race than what this will be was really good. He hit the line from a long way back, and he gets that soft trip. He'll be right in the placings, I think, and that's the way I'm playing it. But so 4, 1, 10 and 9.
Okay, I'm coming up with 4 as well, Constantinople. I've marked 2, Zealous Spur as the main threat. I don't think he's been bad through the series, so he can run a good race here from his good draw. Powder Keg, taking him on trust, and 9, Show Me the Grey. I think he'll strip fitter from that first up run. So 4, 2, 10, 9. That is race number 9. That's the Trotters' free-for-all, in some ways, the consolation of the trotting grand final. And start time comes through at 8:43. Time now to find a good thing or two for this big program coming through on Saturday night. 10 races, early start time 4:22. Make sure you're up to speed with all the jackpot information, money back offers, jackpot information. There's going to be plenty on offer for this big night. ID23 Grand Finals night. Let's get the good oil from the boys. Darren, Clayton, Ryan, Spice. Darren, your best bet for ID23 Grand Finals night.
Yeah, hopefully we can bring it home strong, get another best bet home. I think in the final heat of the Australasian Young Drivers Championship, RD's Flash, this horse absolutely flying for Chantel Turpin, Pete McMullen. Leonard Kane takes the drive, so he should know the horse really well. It's super off speed, this horse, and I think the race should just be strong enough that RD's Flash just power home over the top. Kingdom Come the Place, like I mentioned earlier. Perfect trip in behind. Quaddy numbers, first leg is the Inter Dominion final. I'm going 1, 3, 4, 6 and 11. So Narano, Swayze, Future Assured, Leap to Fame, Better Eclipse. Second leg, I've got numbers 4, 8, 9 and 11. That's Big Skewy, Romani, High Voltage and Pacifico Dream. Third leg, 1, 3 and 11. Beef City Blaze, Not the Kingswood, Chamonix. Bringing it home 1 out with number 4, Just Believe. Hopefully we can pay the believers.
Okay, Ryan, your best bet.
Race 3, number 3, Bonnie Prince Louis. Alana Richardson for Ben Battle. This horse is airborne, gets his perfect setup into a band 5 over the mile. He's a band 4 with the claim, front row draw, straight on the front end. He will get every opportunity to salute.
Okay, and your quaddy numbers, they look fairly normal there. 1, 3, 6 in the first leg, so that's Narano, Swayze, Leap to Fame.
Then I've gone wide in the second leg. Miracle Moose, who went up a huge price. Art Jester, who'll stalk on speed. Big Skewy, who I think is left to breeze in this event. Romani as well, we will pop in there. Alter Every, just for that knockout blow as well. And High Voltage loves an up-tempo race, so gone wide that leg. Into the map horses, Beef City Blaze and Not the Kingswood, and we'll bring it home with the Candyman.
Okay, Just Believe. My best bet, be patient, wait for the last. Sister Bliss, she's bursting to win a race, and I think they've found the right one. It is the last, though. Race 10, number 6, Sister Bliss. The quaddie, 1, 3 and 6 there in that first leg. 1, 4, 8, Miracle Moose, Big Skewy and Romani. That will be peg-dominated for mine, that race. 1, 3, 8, 9 and 10. So Beef City Blaze, Not the Kingswood, La Sabina, Jillaby Jackpot, and we'll put in number 10 there. That should be 11, but anyway, that's my error. Bad error there from me. So that's Chamonix that we're including. And number 4, Just Believe. So $45 for 100% of the dividend. That's how we play Albion Park ID23 Grand Finals night. I hope you've enjoyed the coverage over the past couple of weeks during ID23, guys. Big thanks to you. It's been a real pleasure. Hopefully, the best horses come out on top on Saturday night.
Yeah, it should be a great night, and hopefully the racing is absolutely red hot.
Hopefully you're on the right side of the ledger.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. We'll see you trackside Albion Park, ID23 Grand Finals night tomorrow night.